Hello everyone, and welcome to another random video on the internet. And with me today I have a special guest. Say hello to everybody.
How are we, everyone? It's Catchdog.
Has a good channel, you should totally check him out. This topic has been circulating in our minds and in our Discord chat for quite a while now. Which most people, usually when they debate stuff with Madara, they debate stuff like Madara versus Hashirama, Madara versus Naruto, Sasuke, Madara versus Minato, Madara versus the Akatsuki. But the thing is...
Madara versus Jigen, all that stuff.
God. One debate that I feel like is not very interesting, though, is Madara versus the Akatsuki. Because the Akatsuki, I guess it depends on what version of them you use, but they, if you want to use, peak Akatsuki, they kind of slam Madara. Specifically, you have Kisame, who I think is very underrated, so we're here to talk about him today.
Yeah, and I'll just add, a lot of these debates and these versus, videos on YouTube, I'm not hating any creators, by the way, they don't take into account Madara's personality. They just say, power scaling, GG slaps. We will be using, for this video, their personalities. We know Madara is very arrogant, so he's not going to just slam the Akatsuki. He's going to see what they can do, like the Kage. So, as Sartori will get into, Kisame versus Madara is very interesting in character.
Yeah. And the thing about Kisame is that he has many forms across the series, which all have different scaling. So for this video specifically, we'll be using a hypothetical peak Kisame, which would be Kisame from the Guy fight, but at actually full power and with Samehara.
Yeah.
Would you like to start off with Madara scaling? Where does he scale for the most part? What can he do?
I mean, for the most part, we should all, fairly, agree that, Madara is peak pre-6 Pars characters. I mean, the guy's fighting Hashirama, who can neg Tobirama, who may or may not be stronger than Minato. Whatever you guys think of that, regardless. We know that Madara is most certainly an above Ninetales level threat, which we see what Ninetales in the series can do. It can slap Orochimaru, the Sannin, it can slap, half of it can slap Pain, the second coming of Jesus Christ. We see Madara body the full Ninetales, pretty much, or a Ninetales level threat, that being Hashirama, and then some. And admittedly, Madara was losing to Hashirama his whole life, but I think it's very disingenuous to say that they're not relative. They're very clearly shown as relative. So we get this character who may or may not be a 10 Tails level threat with a perfect Susanoo that can carve mountains, and that's just the minimum that he does. That is sort of just one swing. So if we take all his arsenal into account, we get a seriously threatening character that may or may not be able to beat 10 Tails Jubito, who was more or less God in the series. But Sartori, what about Kisame? Because Kisame doesn't really hold up per se, but as the statement goes, the stronger his opponent is, the stronger he himself becomes. So how would he fare?
So Kisame, for the most part, is an extremely underrated character in Naruto, both in terms of character and in terms of power scaling. But for this, we'll just focus on his power scaling. So, in the Guy fight, we actually see that he can clash equally with 7th Gate Guy for a bit. And we see that they launch their jutsu at exactly the same speed, side by side. There are panels comparing them. They travel the same distance in the same amount of time. And the Hirodora and the Shark Bomb are very comparable, and the speed with which they launch their jutsu and punch the water is the exact same. And the Hirodora just compresses and then overwhelms the Shark Bomb because of that compression. And the thing about 7th Gate Guy, first of all, we have Guy charging at Madara. Madara shows an exclamation mark. He's surprised by Guy's speed. And then he is actually barely dodging his hits, just barely dodging his hits. Gaara, who, keep in mind, has fought alongside KCM2 Naruto, mastered KCM2 Naruto as well, who was kind of blitzing at Madara before, not gonna lie. Yeah. Gaara is saying that Guy's movements aren't even human. So Guy in the 7th Gate is already above mastered KCM2 Naruto. And then Madara takes a swipe at him with a truth-seeking staff. And Guy actually reacts, puts his hands in that weird position that he needs them to be in for Hirodora to launch, and then he just deflects it and knocks Jubidara back. And Kisame scales to that while massively fatigued and like starving, chakra deprived, and without Samehada. I don't know what to say, dude. Like,
this is an extremely weak Kisame.
Yeah, like, imagine if he was at his peak. Like, the guy's already borderline pushing Jubidara with one eye. And then people will bring up, like, oh, didn't Madara Susanoo, like, tank a Hirudora? But the thing is, Guy at that point could barely even move. Like, he had to be held up by the A-Tails to even, like, stand and stuff. And he was also binded by Wood Style, so he was being, like, chakra drained on top of that. And he just, like, even that, like, extremely fatigued guy still just launches Madara Susanoo away and, like, all the way off panel. And then we don't see him for, like, a whole chapter. So we kind of can infer that maybe Madara could have actually been, like, destroyed and then he had to regenerate from the bomb. And, yeah, that's the scaling for Kisame. Like, he scales to borderline Jubidara tier while massively fatigued. Like, do you have anything else to add to that?
Easily. So, like, if you take, like, that full power, like, Kisame, let's say, like, we put those characters in character, because remember, like, Madara doesn't just kill his opponents, so, like, we really need to take into account the fact that Madara will be testing Kisame's ability and calling him weak and bullying him and stuff, even though, like, the power isn't actually, like, that far off, I'd say. Like, they're pretty comparable in terms of, like, actual power. So, like, if Madara at all, like, pulls a Killer Bee and, like, completely, like, destroys Kisame's body with, like, a massive, like, fireball jutsu or, like, a Susanoo sword swing or any form of chakra, you know, based thing, anything really, you're gonna get a massively amped Kisame merging with a massively amped Samehada, which, I don't know, like, is Madara gonna be able to do anything against that, like, crazy, like, fused Kisame that just took all of Madara's abilities? I don't know.
Yeah, like, Perfect Susanoo is, like, not gonna come out right off the bat. That's one thing to remember. And even if it does, with the stats that we've seen Kisame have, he could probably just block the swing. Like, unironically, he could probably just block the swing with Samehada. Like, with his bare hands, could probably catch the blade because he scales to Jubidara. Like, I don't see the Perfect Susanoo knocking Jubidara back. Like, it's literally Madara, but roids on roids. Like, Renegon plus, like, Jubi. Is Madara really gonna be able to do anything to Kisame? Like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, that water bubble, if we're talking a live Madara, he's gonna just, like, drown him. But the Edo Madara, let's say, we can see, like, pretty well how fast Kisame can absorb chakra. Like, it's insane. Like, Kisame's absorption, Samehada and Kisame himself have some pretty absurd, like, feats with the chakra absorption. If he touches Edo Madara and saps his chakra, like, if he touches him just one time, like, in that water bubble, like, Madara's being a dickhead, exactly how he was around Tsunade, exactly how he was with Sasuke, with Naruto, with all of these characters that touch Madara. Think of all the characters that fight him. Think of all of them that touch him. The tailed beasts all touch him. If Kisame touches him one time with his fused form and saps his chakra and paralyzes his Edo form, there's no coming back for this dude at all. And it's actually fairly consistently going to be Kisame W. 100%.
Yeah. And on top of that, you have Gyuki, who's like the second strongest tailed beast. And he says, verbatim, that Kisame, in just the few short exchanges that they had, sucked away most of his chakra. So Madara, whose Perfect Susanoo is compared to Bijou, if Kisame just touches it for like a few seconds, like, he's gonna start draining the entire Susanoo, like, not gonna lie. And I think we can...
Chakra, yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think we can drop the facade now, by the way, just to enjoy ourselves a bit more. Okay.
Bro, this is what Sartre actually thinks.
Okay, so this is what I actually think. Kisame, the boy, he scales to 7th Gate Guy, and 7th Gate Guy scales to Jubidara. Verbatim. And that's while he's also kind of fatigued because he's been running and fighting for a long time. So imagine a fresh Kisame and a fresh Guy fresh guy would already probably be around Jubidara level in the 7th gate. Kisame is matching that while at like 1%. He's like chakra deprived, he's like starving and like drowning, well, not drowning, like thirsting to death, whatever. And at full power, I think Kisame actually chakra drains Jubidara and he would win. That is a likely scenario that can happen. He has the speed scaling, he has the AP scaling, he can just already, like at 1%, he already matches a jutsu that, when nerfed, can block Jubidara's attacks and knock him back. So like, what is Jubidara doing? Like, what is Jubidara doing to Kisame? Like, there's literally nothing in his arsenal that could beat Kisame. Kisame just has such a massive stat advantage that he would unironically just like blitz and then put Jubidara in a chokehold and just suck his chakra, and that's it. That's it.
And if you think that, like, you know, Samehada, right? He likes octopus flavored chakra or whatever. Do you think it's not a little bit likely that he's gonna like Madara and the 6 Pars taste of chakra? Like, that doesn't seem very far fetched to me. Like, he might even like suck it up faster.
Yeah, probably. But like, what about Limbo? What about Limbo? Like, he's not gonna have time to use it. Kisame's gonna blitz him and like destroy him. Like, what's Limbo gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna blitz and destroy. What about the human path? Yeah. The human path is like strong. Bro, what has the human path done? KCM Naruto, who's weaker than Nagato, can resist being chakra pulled or like soul pulled. So like Kisame, who has massively superior stats to Jubidara, you think he's gonna get his soul pulled out? Like, the only jutsu, the only times that jutsu works is like against Shizune and randoms from the Leaf Village who are way weaker than Nagato. There's no way that a stronger character is gonna get their soul ripped out by a weaker character. Like, there's just no way. So like,
exactly. It's like Sasuke couldn't just like soul suck Kaguya. Like, that's not implied in the series at all. So like, with Kisame's huge stat advantage, you're never gonna see Madara use the human path. Like, the Renegon itself, like, its abilities kind of get like power crept, like the missiles aren't gonna work. Like, the truth-seeking orbs, if they hit Kisame, which I don't think so, like, I think we both agree that like Kisame has like a massive speed advantage just from like that stuff with 7th Gate Guy. Yeah, if it all touches him, he's just gonna be able to regenerate. Like, we've seen like Kisame tank like his whole ribcage and spine out, and he just regenerates as long as he's got stamina and chakra. He's fine.
Yeah, and he's gonna have stamina for days. He's gonna drain Jubidara, so you know it's not gonna really work out for Jubidara. But what about regen and what about regen? Like, he's gonna just drain Jubidara dry, and then he's gonna feed his body to Samehada. Samehada's gonna digest them, and that's it. That's Madara for you. That he's dying.
Yeah.
And that's Kisame just like in base too. Like, if he actually fuses with Samehada, he gets like a massive stat amp.
It's a
like,
wrap.
Bro, like, it's not even funny, dude.
It's
like,
a wrap.
Yeah, I feel like I
don't even know why people do those Akatsuki videos. It's just clear like Kisame is just enough.
Yeah, like it's overkill with Kisame. Honestly, you add like Itachi, the solo king. You had Nagato, the god. You had like Obito, the simp. Like, all those people against Madara alone. Like, what are they? What is Madara gonna do, dude? Like, Jubidara gets slammed by Kisame. Like, what's Edo Madara gonna do to Hidan, who scales to Kakuzu's durability because Kakuzu was scared to get hit by him? Like, Renegon Sage Mode Madara. Yeah, like, Renegon Sage Mode Madara gets his, like, arm busted off by some, like, fodder Two-Tails attacks. And Kakuzu in base, without even Diamond Morph, just tanks it. Madara still gets damaged, so, like, Kakuzu in base scales above Edo Madara's durability. Like, what is Madara gonna do against the entire Akatsuki, dude? Like, I don't know, dude. It's
one
really
swipe
unfair.
from the Two-Tails or whatever it is. Like, one swipe can, like, tear off, like, Madara's arm. And, like, it's pretty, like, well implied that, like, a Jinchuriki has, like, better showings than, like, its tailed beast, right? And that's because, like, the Jinchuriki host can, like, have a brain and it uses its power a little bit more smart. So, and Gyuki's, like, also, like, confirmed to be, like, the second strongest tailed beast. B goes at Kisame, like, full force lariat and, like, puts, like, a little hole in Kisame and he regenerates fine. So we have like a weaker tailed beast taking off Madara's arm. It's like, bro, that's like embarrassing. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, it's humiliating for Madara, dude. Like, Madara is one of the most overhyped characters in fiction, to be honest. Like, what's he gonna do? Like, even if you take the recent Minato one-shot, you know, Minato's base Rasengan, while not even mastered, should scale to like the full Kurama Bijou Bomb. Meanwhile, Obito at 14 years old is tanking it to the back. Like, what is Madara gonna do? Madara thinks the Ninetales is impressive enough to help him fight Hashirama and stuff like that, and he's comboing with it. Like, they're clearly relative. And 14-year-old Obito scales above anything Madara can do. Like, honestly, 14-year-old Obito might just tank a perfect Susanoo swing to the face and nothing would happen, so... Like, the entire Akatsuki is just unfair. Kisame is also unfair. Kisame bullies Jubidara. Like, not gonna lie.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, we don't even need to bring up, like, Alive or Edo. Like, it's just so easy for him.
And, yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Do you have anything else to add?
That's it. That's the video. A pretty typical Satori video. A typical video and day in the life of Satori, ladies and gentlemen.
I love this dude.
I knew it. I knew you would love it.
Bro, Kisame hype. Nah, dude, this was 100% serious, dude. This was 100% serious, dude. Don't.
The only argument I'd say is like actually like really genuine is like I actually do believe, not joking, that maybe Kisame, if he grabs a hold of Madara, I mean, like, whoa, what would happen? What would, what would happen?
The full Gyuki in seconds. Madara likes to play around. He might not even notice he's being drained until it's too late. Who knows?
He's not the smartest character. He does like to play with his food, and unfortunately, like, it gets him bit a few times. He loses his arms. He gets bullied. Like, it's
Madara got hurt by like 8th Gate Guy's punches. He's like, okay, let me not take any more of those. It would be troublesome if they hit me. Meanwhile, like 2 minutes later, he's like standing in front of Night Guy screaming, yes, please, yes, like, I don't know, dude, like, Madara is kind of an idiot, not gonna lie, and Kisame is gonna take advantage of that.
I agree.
And of course, that's even ignoring all the other scaling, like, of course, you know, he's massively faster, massively stronger, you know, that's, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But anyways, that's the video. Hope you all enjoyed, and be sure to check out Catchdog.
Bang a video.
Be sure to check out Catchdog. He does cool content.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, hope you have an excellent rest of the day. Let me know who you think wins, Kisame or Kaguya. I feel like that's a more fair debate than Kisame and Madara. And
yeah, thank you so much for having me on, as always. Like, for this very serious video, as always, subscribe to the boy Satori. He is on the grind. Subscribe to him. If you like Kisame, subscribe to Satori. Let us know who we should put Kisame against next. What, Kisame versus who? Jigen? I don't think so. Anyway, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Kisame solos Jigen easily.
Sadamare. その人たちは死んだ万象を砕く力を持つ。あの美獣にすら匹敵するが、それもお前らにとってはかえってよかったと言えるかもしれない。さすがは仮にも影の名を背負う忍びたちだ。内浜田らも全力で応えよう。何？空間がねじ曲がっただと？